Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs and Fuego. We're documenting your journey, one digital footprint at a time. With me, I have the distinct privilege. Wait a minute. I'm under your spell. I'm under your spell.
Easy.
Amy Rosner.
Retire early if I could do that.
By the time this episode ends, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm all
You're gonna
hypnotized.
agree with everything I say.
Exactly.
Right.
How you doing, Amy?
Good.
Cool. Tell us a little
Thank
bit
you for
about
having me
you.
here,
I kind of gave a hint of what you do, but
Yeah,
go
pretty
ahead.
much.
Tell us
Yeah,
what you
that's
do.
pretty much it. I'm a hypnotherapist.
Yes.
And
What does that mean?
It's nothing like what we were just joking about. This is
yeah.
a popular misconception, right? That
Right.
It's mind control or something.
Right.
And people who do this for entertainment are, it's awesome entertainment, but
Right.
it kind of gives a different impression of what hypnosis really is. That somebody else has control over your mind and can make you do things like, bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken or something, right? And I always get something from people about chicken clucking. It's never happened in my office ever. It's allowed, but it never happened, right? It's actually the opposite. It's about getting more control of your own mind and body.
Okay.
So what you're doing is hypnosis is just kind of relaxing that barrier between your conscious mind, which is that analytical, critical babbler that's babbling at you all throughout the day. You should be doing this. You should do it this way instead of that way. You should be more like this. Just silences that voice so that over 98% of your brain activity is available to you that typically is not throughout the day. So you have more information available to you to learn more about yourself, what you really want, what you really need, who you really want to be. All those answers are right there. But typically they're held back, they're filtered out from our everyday existence.
All right. So, do you need somebody to hypnotize you, or you can use self-hypnotize?
You can do it yourself. Yeah, in fact, we all hypnotize ourselves multiple times every day. We just don't realize that that's what we're doing. We have to go into a hypnagogic state to go to sleep.
A what?
A hypnagogic state,
What
they
is
call it. It's just a hypnotic state that says you're on your way into sleep.
All right.
And then a hypnopompic state to wake up.
A what?
Hypnopompic state.
You're throwing all this terms out there. I have
it's
no
just
idea
a
what you're talking about.
hypnotic
This is new
state
to
that
me.
wakes you up.
All right.
So everybody's hypnotizing themselves at least twice a day just to go to sleep and to wake up.
Gotcha.
If you're highway hypnosis, you're driving down the street
sure.
and 5 minutes later you realize, wow, I don't know how I got here. I don't remember the last 5 minutes of the trip, right?
Yeah.
That's actually a hypnotic state.
All right.
Not advised for driving, but
Right,
it's a
right.
hypnotic state. And
When I used to drink, I used to forget whatever that happened the night
That's a
before.
little
But that's not
different, but
hypnosis. All right.
that's a little different.
Wait, how did I get here?
That's
I
making
don't
your
know.
neurons leaky and
Yeah,
you're not
that's
processing
a
right. Yeah,
different
that's a
thing.
little
All right,
different.
so what is the difference
And
between...
even problem solving, when you're really in a project,
Yeah.
and some's talking to you from 2
Yeah,
feet
yeah.
away and you don't hear them, you're in a hypnotic state.
Okay.
Or if you forget dinner, you're working on something and you're like really in the zone and that's you're actually working in a hypnotic state. That's
Got
when
it.
you're the most productive and creative.
I think I see the difference now. So what's the difference between meditation and hypnosis?
That's a great question. They're actually the same state. So you're in the same state, physiological state, with deep prayer, also meditation,
Right.
hypnosis. The difference is that with meditation, you're bringing your attention to center on something in particular, and if it moves away, you bring it back, and that's the practice. Bringing your attention back to focus on what's what you want to focus on right then. In hypnosis, we encourage the brain to just go, go, wander, be free, and so you start bringing up things that that's a very productive time for me when I try to just meditate. It turns into self-hypnosis because I'll start letting my brain wander and I'll come up with new ideas for workshops and products and stuff and cool ideas about things. So it's a very creative time. So you're getting some different work done in hypnosis than in meditation, even though it's the same physiological state.
So it's not as if you have a white canvas, if you will, that you're staring at nothing, but you're actually focusing on something very specific.
Sure.
Is that-
Yeah, and that
what
helps
it
you
is?
relax because you're getting rid of the distractions around you by focusing on something in particular. So for both meditation and hypnosis, you're both focusing on something in particular, but with hypnosis, you're just after you're nice and relaxed, you just let your brain go.
Does that help you go through times of very stressful situations where you need to compartmentalize certain things and only to focus perhaps on survival or focus on something that was going to get you over or allow you to overcome an obstacle.
It can, and it depends. Actually, it's all about stress and the stress response and the blood flow in your body and especially your brain when you're in different states. And so stress can be a really good thing. It can really help us to really, get done what we need to get done to get through a situation, right?
Yeah.
But Mother Nature only wants us in stress mode for about 2 minutes. And people hear that and they're like, yeah, not me. I'm like days and in stress mode, right? But if you get past that stress time, that kick, to get going, then being in relaxation mode, which is hypnosis is deep relaxation. You're putting your body in that relaxation mode. The blood flow in your brain changes. It goes from the emotional centers to the problem-solving centers. So you're actually thinking more clearly and less emotionally. And you're thinking more creatively, more innovatively. So you can come up with better solutions to problems faster when you're in that state.
And you teach all this?
I do, yes.
Damn, this
Yeah,
is so cool.
it's the coolest thing I've ever done. It's
So
wonderful.
what did you do before?
Actually, I'm a brain researcher turned hypnotherapist. So I have a PhD in experimental psychology, and my research focus was the neuroscience of attention and memory, which is the basis of reprogramming and how hypnosis allows us to change things, the emotional, get rid of a negative emotion, reprogram limiting beliefs, and all that. So. Yeah, that's what I used to do. So I've done a lot of rat research and people research, and then now this is more of a kind of immediate gratification thing and kind of paying it forward, being able to really help people immediately get past something that, I've had a stomach ache for 2 weeks since a fight with their husband, and then they walk out of my office and they're just feeling awesome about it, no stomach ache, everything's cool. So just seeing things like that every day, it's the neatest thing ever, yeah, being able to help people out with that. Very cool.
Nothing else to say, man. I mean, I'm just in a state of... Here's what happens, is that you have that ability to almost immediately change somebody's behavior, somebody's perception, somebody's pain, convert that into something that they can kind of move forward or move from.
Right, exactly. It's removing some kind of block or ceiling or barrier that they've got to moving forward with something. Maybe it's a physical one. Maybe there's a pain they've had for a long time and they just can't seem to get past it. And Western medicine's knowledge of pain control isn't as great as we would like it to be, and it can be problematic sometimes. And actually, there's colleges of pharmacy that have shown that hypnotherapy works as well as pain medication for controlling pain.
Do you do this on a one-on-one basis, or do you do like a group therapy, group hypnosis? Is there such a thing where we got? I remember my kid, poor kid. He was in, I don't know, 6th grade or whatever it was, and his team never won. His soccer team never won a game, and we could have used your help back then, man, because this kid, they needed a
lot of sports teams now use hypnotherapy to help them.
They do that, right?
And I've had professional athletes, golfers, tennis players, things like that. They've wanted to work on a particular aspect of a swing or something like that. That's their block. They just can't seem to get past that. And if they could, then they'd be able to play much more better. They'd be in another category in their mind. So just getting past something like that. Sometimes it's just something we were told when we were little, and maybe it has nothing to do with us, but we were just there, and we got this limiting belief program, like we're not good at attending to things or something, can't you pay attention, and it may be that the kid had nothing to do with it, but okay, now that's programmed, now that's something that's running, and it's going to run for another 70 years, until you do something about it. And it's amazing when I see that in the office, somebody who, for example, has their own business and they're trying to move forward and they just find themselves hitting up against this block of being able to contact certain kinds of people, like people they think are going to be difficult to sell to or difficult to deal with somehow, and so they shy away from it. And so it comes back to something that happened when they were 5 with their father saying that nobody wants to hear what they have to say, wow. And that's just and it's been with them for 40 years or something, and you get past that and all of a sudden now they're just off and running.
So you can actually go back and say, all right, the fact that you're having this block about approaching people to make your sales call or whatnot, you can trace it back to.
Yeah, and it's wherever, and the answers are all in that person. Of course, I don't know anything about it. I'm helping them go back to wherever their mind says there's an issue that needs to be reprogrammed. And it doesn't even matter if it really happened or not. All that matters is what's programmed there. So, okay, let's go back there. Let's see where the mind goes. And it's usually kind of a stepping stone thing. Like, here's the little monster in the closet. Okay, I can look at that and I can tell it to get out and, really get it and let it leave, and then okay, I can do that. Wow, I can get the bigger one now. We can go back to this little. So it's kind of going back to whatever the person is, their brain is comfortable dealing with at the time and getting rid of, and then they realize that what, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't feel like I've got any kind of like hesitation moving forward.
Did you ever find yourself in a situation where you were so self-aware that you yourself needed to shift that paradigm, that you were perhaps stuck somewhere?
Oh, when I first started my business, that was a huge one. I've had some pretty cool accomplishments in my life that I never saw coming, and I just went through and I did them, and it's like looking back, I'm like, yeah, hey, that's pretty cool that I did that. And yet, thinking about starting a business just scared me to death. I thought, wow, am I good enough to actually have a business? That was 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And I thought, man,
and you have all this knowledge and all this research and all these things.
I have all of this, and yet starting a business is a whole different thing. I tell people, when you start a business, you actually have 2 full-time jobs, whatever it is you're doing, and then running a business. And you have to have equal passion and knowledge and attention for both of those things, or it's not going to work. And I've never been inclined toward the business end of it. And so I felt great with the tools and techniques and knowledge that I had. I felt great about being a hypnotherapist, but I didn't feel so comfortable with having a business.
2 questions. How long did you allow yourself to deal with this fear?
Not long.
And two, what did you do about it?
Yeah.
Now that you're self-aware. Yeah. So not long meaning what?
Not
24
long
hours,
meaning
48 hours.
As long as it took to get a couple of sessions with somebody, I have a therapist that I trusted that I could go to. So I actually started working on this in the Hypnotherapy Academy when I was doing my training, because I knew this was a problem for me, and I knew I had to get over this limiting belief I had about being a business owner, or I wasn't going to make it. So if I'm going to do this, I want to be able to make it. So I need to reprogram that. So I had a couple sessions with some great folks there, and they helped me do some serious reprogramming, and it was just, I think it was 2 sessions, and that's it. So when I say quick, I mean as soon as it takes to book a session. I mean, that's...
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now you're reprogrammed, and how do you deal now with all the regular obstacles that a business person, an entrepreneur has now? I mean, do you self-hypnotize? Do you become very aware of that, and I got to shift?
Sometimes it depends. So you're always changing, you're always growing, you're always having new challenges as you grow as a business owner, right? So I feel really comfortable with the things that I was very uncomfortable with to begin with, and that's no problem. I feel great. I'm pro now, it seems like, just after a couple of years. But there are new challenges, and I'm growing, and I'm doing different things, and I'm getting bigger, and I'm doing all kinds of cool things, and those present challenges, because then it's like, oh, wow, can I really do this? Can I go off on this and do this? I know I can do this, but can I do this? And then it's a matter of, is this some kind of new insecurity I have that I can do the reprogramming myself, or is this something coming from way back, and maybe I need a little help, get a session with somebody and get help with that. I've really taken care of pretty much all of it on my own since I got out of the academy, and I started off, because my big ones I needed help with, and now the rest of the stuff has been pretty small since then.
The academy. Now,
Hypnotherapy Academy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there one particular case that jumps to you and that you remember all the time?
There are several. There's a really great one of a business owner, which would be appropriate for the show. And he actually just called me the other day, and he said, use me as an example. Because he said he came to me, and he had just a wonderful guy, and he had some kids, and he had to he was in this legal situation where he had to come up with $10,000 in 6 weeks, or he was going to jail. And he had 5 lines of income. He was trying everything he could to bring in as much money as he could so that he could meet that goal. And he was scared to death. And he came in. He did 3 sessions. That's it, just 3 sessions. And we went back to something that his father had told him over and over when he was a kid, like around 10 years old or so. And that just put this big limiting belief on him of moving forward in sales, in following up with people in particular, and people that he thought might be difficult. And not only did he meet his goal, he told me on this phone call, because he just left. All of a sudden he was gone. And when I heard back from him, he said, not only did I meet that goal, but I made over $100,000 this first year since then. And he said, I'm the #1 salesperson in my insurance company in the whole state of New Mexico. And he was looking at actually a deal that might go through with $1 million commission for him.
Oh my
and I don't know how that turned out, but that's what he said. He said, use me as an example. He said 3 sessions. He said, I was over that block and I was able to just fly. That's what was just keeping him back. So it's amazing what can happen just by getting rid of some of that little programming that maybe was accidental or maybe actually served a purpose. It helped you when you were young to get through a certain situation, but it's not helping you anymore, so it's got to go. Right?
Do you put people in the couch?
No, I don't have a couch. I have a recliner though, and it's very nice. And very often they want to stay there.
Oh, like, the stereotypical in the couch.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, right?
I tell you what. This is
I get a
so
T-shirt.
cool.
Yay.
You get a T-shirt, man.
Awesome.
Because
I
we're
love it.
here.
I love this place. You guys are fantastic. The work that you do,
Thank you so much.
it's just really inspirational, and I so appreciate you letting me be a part of it. This is
No,
great.
I mean, this is a great project, and
organization.
I've learned a lot about. Wait a minute. Is there like a key word that you have to tell me so that I can snap out of it? How about entrepreneurs and Fuego? Okay, I'm out of it.
Yeah, not that you know.
This is a T-shirt for you, and
That's
I'm really.
great. I love
this
it.
is for you. Dear.
Thank you so much.
This is so cool. The type of work that you're doing. I think that what we should do is get a group of entrepreneurs in here and kind of go through a session, like kind of a group
I would
session.
love that. I
That
love being
would
able
be
to teach,
cool.
and I love being able especially to teach people techniques they can use on their own. I'm all about empowering people. Kick the baby birds out of the nest as soon as possible. Do on your own. Do for yourself. Learn how to reprogram on the fly and keep things from affecting you in a negative way so you can keep your head, keep creative and innovative, and just go as far as you can go with your personal and your business life.
You're so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Right back at you.
You are under my command, and we're out.